Can you hear me? I'm from the National Women's Council, and the Women's Council represents women's organisations all over the country. And today is incredible. Women's organisations are here with community groups, with some political parties, with trade unions, and we are here to stand to make a public statement that this housing and homeless crisis needs to end. We are here because we want to raise the roof and we want to say no more to this crisis. But it's also really incredible that we're here again since our last demonstration in October, and from years of campaigning from the homeless organisations. And the only thing that has changed is that the situation has got worse, and it's getting worse by the day. Homelessness has risen, and just under, and we've heard it so many times today, 4,000 children are homeless. But we also have the highest women's homeless rate in Europe. What a statistic! What is that to be top of the league of? In the Women's Council, we know the devastation that not having a place to call home is causing for women and families. This is the equality issue of our day, and we must continue to stand together until we can bring an end to this destruction. Not knowing where you will take your children tonight, next week, or next month. Where are you going to sleep? Where are you going to wash? Where can you find a place for the children to play or to do their homework? All of the things that so many people in this country take for granted. This is devastating and it is destroying families. This is a crisis. It's a women's issue, it's an equality issue, and it's a rights issue. Every day women and children are being driven out of their homes as rents increase, and they find themselves in an impossible cycle of trying to find housing, and in most cases ending up homeless. There are over 2,600 women who are homeless, and official figures are not representing the full extent of the problem. Women are more likely to move in to friends and families' houses. Women who are in refuge because of domestic violence are not counted in the figures. And as we've just heard, neither are those in direct provision centres. And the crisis is really having an impact on lone parent families, the majority of whom are led by women. They're being forced out of the private rental market into precarious living situations, and the trauma and poor health is causing devastation, and it's not sustainable for any family. We have to bring an end to this crisis. Being homeless is not the fault of individuals. It's not an inevitable situation. It's because of the political choices that are being made by this government and previous ones. Choice is not to build public housing on a scale that's needed, and to put the interests of landlords above those who need to rent, and to let the rents soar, which is what's happening right now. The government is choosing to give obscene amounts of money to landlords through the HAP scheme. And let's remember, there is no person, no woman, no child who's choosing to live in this misery. Housing is a right, not a choice. Having a place to call home is a basic right for all of us. So with 1 week to go to the elections, we need to make housing the issue. We need to make it the issue that it's at the forefront of people's minds when they go to vote and put their vote next Friday. New political choices need to be made. We need to elect those who have the guts to make those decisions, to build the houses that we need. We need our elected representatives to make this happen. We need to build those houses. We need to stop evictions now, and we need to stop pushing people into further homelessness. We need to make renting a secure long-term option. Women, children, people, we don't have years to wait. So let's raise the roof today. Let's raise the roof on Friday, and let's go out and vote for those who will make housing a right. Thank you.
Thanks, Owen. I'm going to call on Peter McFerry now, our last speaker, then we go to Damien Dempsey.
It's 2 years and 10 months since the government introduced its strategy on homelessness and housing. rebuilding Ireland. Since then, every month, homelessness has increased. Rents have risen to a record level. And prices continue to increase and are beyond the means of most households in Ireland. Dublin City Council predicts that homelessness is going to increase for at least the next 3 years. The prediction is that rents will go up by 17% over the next 3 years, and house prices will continue to go up. This government strategy is not working. Any 12-year-old kid could tell this government their strategy is not working. And yet, every month when the homeless figures come out, the government keep insisting that their strategy is working. The emperor has no clothes. And until they realize that they have no clothes, nothing is going to change. There are at least 500,000 people in this country whose housing situation is causing them serious distress. There are those living in overcrowded households. That's some of you here present today. There are those living in poor quality private rented accommodation, but they can't complain for fear of being evicted into homelessness. And that is some of you today. There are those in their 20s, 30s and 40s still living with their parents because they cannot afford to move out, and that is some of you today. There are those living in private rented accommodation who are paying 60% and 5% paying 75% of their income on rent. They are working all month very hard to hand over 60 or 75% of their income to a landlord. I think Karl Marx had something to say about that, the transfer of wealth from workers to... The Department of Finance wants house prices to continue to rise, because as house prices go up, when the banks come to repossess those houses or to sell them to vulture funds, they get more money. The Department of Finance wants rents to continue rising, because that makes Ireland attractive to the big international investment funds coming in to buy up property. This government are on the side of the banks, the international funds and the property owners. They are not on the side of tenants and people in mortgages who are struggling to pay and keep a roof over their head. Today we have a crisis. Tomorrow we are going to have a catastrophe. There are 40,000 mortgages in arrears of more than 2 years. Some of you here probably in that situation. And the central bank estimates that at least half of those are going to be repossessed. That will create not a crisis, that will create a catastrophe which this country will not be able to cope with. Thank you.
Just before we ask Damien to come on and do a few sets for us, let's be very, very clear what the risen people of Ireland are saying to this government and to any government that might come in to power. A B&B is not a home. Direct provision is not a home. A family home is not a home. The side of the road is not a home. A debt slave to vulture phones is not a home. And certainly this is not a home. Let's build an Ireland that the men and women 100 and odd years ago fought in the GPO for, and 100 years on from the democratic programme of the first Dáil in 1919, we still have people dying on our streets, dying under these very arches for want of a vision, for want of a true republic. We're not going away. We will continue to protest. We will take to the streets again and again in towns and villages all over Ireland. We will make you pay for your betrayal. Damien Dempsey, please.